Okay, in this Google Meet recording, I will be discussing Unit 2, Activity 2. And in this activity, we will be focusing on the elements of a news article. And at the end of the article, you're going to have to show me that you can write your own news article. Before I get into the activity, though, and this is probably going to depend, this might mean more to you depending on what day you listen to this recording, but I will be emailing students their midterm exam results tomorrow afternoon, so Wednesday afternoon. And then later this week, by Friday, I will send you a second email with your overall midterm grade. And if you have any questions about your midterm exam results, you can certainly come into class and see your exam yourself. I am available Monday through Friday, as long as it's not a holiday or the school closed. I'm available Monday through Friday from 1:45 till 3 in room 106. So if you want to come in and see your exam, you can. Or if you have any questions about your overall midterm grade, you can email me or come into class and talk to me as well too. But expect to receive your exam grade and your overall midterm grade by the ending of this week. It is also important that by the ending of this week, you are hopefully caught up. So the Unit 2 Activity 2 assignment that I'm about to go over, this is not part of the midterm. It's not due until next week, but you should, by the ending of this week, be done up to Unit 2 Activity 1. All right. With that said, let's explore Activity 2. So let's jump right in. Okay, in this activity, we're going to focus on news articles, so written news articles. And we start with a quote from Pope Francis about the importance of journalists and the importance of getting good quality news. All right, if we get into the action, they're going to talk about what makes a good news story. And they're going to give you 7. They're going to give you 7 what they call pillars of newsworthiness: timeliness, proximity, impact, prominence, rarity, human interest, and currency. And they're going to explore and explain these concepts more in this activity. But the argument is that for a news story to be a good news story, it should relate to these 7 pillars. Okay. All right. And there's a little video here actually on newsworthiness that explains the 7 pillars and talks about what makes a good news story. If we continue on, we're going to have an example of a news article. And this one is about Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario, and about a decision he made regarding wind power in Ontario. And so you can take a look. They're going to talk about the different parts: the headline, the byline, the date, the photo, the caption, the lead paragraph, all of the different parts that make up this news article. They're going to try to explain to you in this activity. So if you go down here, they're going to talk about the importance of following the inverted pyramid, which is the structure that is used in a news article. And what that means is you start with the most important information. The news that is most important, you lead with it. You put it in what we call your lead paragraph. Okay, so try to tell as many of the 5 W's and 1 H. So the who's involved, the what happened, the when it happened, the where it happened, the why and the how it happened. You try to give all of that information at the beginning of your news article. Okay. When we go down here, it's going to analyze the different elements. So like I said, a news article has a headline, a byline, lead paragraphs, explanation paragraphs, and an ending. Also has a photo as well too, usually, and a caption below the photo. But these are the main elements that you're going to have to include in the news article that you write. Okay. We have a second news article example. This one is from CTV News. It's about the plastic ban in Canada. And so you can take a look at this news article, and then afterwards, they're going to highlight the different parts of the article. So they're going to highlight the headline, the byline, the lead paragraphs with the 5 W's and H, the explanation paragraphs, the ending. So it's going to go over all of the different parts in this news article. So you get a sense of what makes up a proper news article. And that leads us to what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to write your own news article for me. So what I've given you here is 3 photos and headlines. So you've got a photo here, and the headline says, "Neighbors create community garden." You've got a second photo here, and it says, "High school students organize basketball fundraiser for local charity." And you've got a third photo here, and it says, "Robotics project wins local competition." So you're going to choose one of these 3 photos and the headline that goes with it, that's below it, and you're going to use that as the foundation to write your own news article. Now, obviously, you're going to have to make things up based on the photo and based on the headline. It's not a real event that is actually going on. Well, maybe I suppose it is, but we don't have the details. We're not actually reporting on the scene. So you're going to have to be a little creative here and maybe give names to the people that are involved. Maybe talk a little bit, if you're doing this one, about the types of plants that they're growing. So you are free to create your own details based on the photo and based on the headline. If we go down further here, you're going to be asked to write an article based on your photo and based on your headline, but I'm going to have you do it in steps. Excuse me. So the first step is to choose one of the images, one of the photos, and the headline that goes with it from the 3 above. Secondly, you're going to brainstorm answers to the 5 W's and 1 H question. So you're going to look at one of these photos and you're going to say who, what, where, when, why, how, and then you're just going to create details that you can use to write your article. Next, number 3, before turning your answers to the 5 W's and 1 H questions into a news article, make sure you review the articles in this activity. Take note of all of the different parts or elements: headline, byline, lead paragraph, quotations, all of the things that are in the articles in this activity, you're going to have to put in your news article. And then step 4, write your news article, include the headline and the photo you chose. Also include a byline, a lead paragraph, an explanation paragraphs. I'd like you to include at least 2 quotes from people related to the event. So again, you can make up those quotes. I know you don't actually get a chance to interview the people in the photo. And then you're going to have an ending to your news report. After you've written your news article, revise it, check your spelling, your grammar, make sure you're including everything that needs to be there. And then number 6, review the rubric below. And you can see below here, knowledge, thinking, communication, application. This is how I'm going to grade your news report. Okay. I've given you the template that you can use to fill out to complete your assignment. If you just click right here on 2.2 assessment news article. Let me show you here. You have to make a copy. But you can just fill this out for your assignment. So it reminds you of the steps. Choose one of the photos and the headlines, brainstorm the 5 W's, 1 H, write your news article, revise and edit, review the rubric, submit your submit this document, right? So I've given you space here to do the brainstorming, the who, what, where, when, why, and how. And then I've given you space down here and reminded you what to include when you write your news article. So I've given you plenty of space. You can expand or delete space here however much you need, but your news article should include all of these things. So it's not just going to be one paragraph. It's going to be multiple small paragraphs, just like a normal news article. And that, when you're done filling out that document, you can just go down to the bottom of this page and you can click right here when you're ready to submit, and you can click Unit 2, 2.2 Assessment News Report. And if I click here, as always, it takes me right into the Dropbox, and I can go into add a file and I can add my Google Doc. Okay, and that is that's about it. That's how we're going to do Unit 2, Activity 2. And if you have any questions about your news article, please let me know.